Hey guys, this is Itimi, and welcome to another episode of Home and Away. This is a new series where I sit with some of my friends and talk about what it means to leave, to begin again, and to build something new in a place that still feels like home. This series is brought to you in partnership with Remitly for people who are building across borders. On this special episode, I'm speaking with one of my best friends, Oiza, and we're talking about money. How has our mindset about money and finance changed? I've moved across different locations. Oiza has moved from Lagos to London, to New York to New Jersey, and at each point of her journey has learned different things about money and has formed new habits. So we're going to dive into all of that. And so regardless of where you are living in diaspora, I think it's one of those episodes that you find relatable, but you would also leave with at least one new money lesson or one new financial lesson. So make sure you stay and watch this episode to the end. This episode is sponsored by Remedy. Tell me what beliefs of money that you grew up with and how those beliefs have changed over the last couple of years.
I don't even know that I have money beliefs.
There has to be something that you believe in at some point.
I mean, like growing up, it wasn't as if we talked about money or there was like any money belief. You go and meet your parents for money. Like, I don't have money. You're going to school. Better manage what you have. And so you find ways to like get more money. And that was it. The money idea was if I wanted something and I want to get it, I should be able to have money to get it. There wasn't anything around, oh, this is how I think about money, or this is what money is going to look like. Are you hungry? You have money for food.
You don't have money. Fair.
So you get it. And that was it. It was the
Have you noticed that so you've done like Lagos, London, New York, because New Jersey different, or do we put it under New York?
for New Jersey, New York and New Jersey.
So you've done at least three different continents, three different cities, which also means culturally it's different. Money values is different. As you have gotten through these different stages, do you feel like there's stuff that you've learned from, oh, I'm now an adult, I'm making money in Lagos, to, oh, now I'm in London and it changed something in how I think about money, or now I moved to the US and it's completely different?
I think they're all very different because I mean there was a stage where growing up probably in university, like just like figuring it out. Then I moved to Lagos and you start to like make money. It was like, you've arrived, you get what you need. The structure of how you even spend money is different because you pay rent on a yearly basis. Sometimes you pay electric bill, sometimes you don't, depending on
The culture.
right. So it was almost like, I'm in Lagos now, I'm settling in. Oh, I need a car. Oh, I need to get like a nice apartment. I need to be able to like spend money, go out. Like that was the energy. And all my bills were like, if I don't save money this month, next month I can save it because it's like a yearly thing. My salary will probably pay for it if I hustle and in 3 months like put the rent together. It's very different when you move to London, and it starts to feel like you actually have to come correct with your money, or
You have to
else
plan every month.
you will not have a roof over your head. And so I think it started to change. In Lagos, if you didn't have money, you could call a friend and be like, guy, can I see like 20K, whatever there, and they'll give it to you. In the UK, nobody will give you anything. Worst case, you spend your credit card, and if you don't pay it on time, that's on you. Or you want to take a loan. If you don't even meet the requirements to get a loan, like that's on you. I think when I moved to the UK, there was now like awareness and conscious effort into saving money, planning for my monthly bills. Like there's this thing everybody be like, in the UK, I just working for to pay bills. But for me, it's like, okay, now every month money has to be set aside to pay the bills, and then I start to figure out like what's flexing money. But that's also where I started getting exposed to actually you need to have money for raining days, because if there was a
There's a
situation
rainy day.
like you are not going to see money anywhere. You can't just pick a phone and be like, give me £1,000. Like nobody's there to like cater for your monetary bills. And I think that's where it started. The US is completely different. I feel like moving to the US completely changed my uh mindset and approach to money. For the UK, I think it started to like, remind me that you're an adult now. You need to like plan a life. But in the US, it was conscious effort. like actually you need to start thinking about your future. You need to start thinking about retirement.
So it's not planning day to day. It's like
It wasn't like just
long-term
planning day
future.
to day anymore. It was that if you sick tomorrow and you don't have money, you will go broke the next minute. I mean, in the UK, like health insurance was there, but also going to the hospital was free. You get there, NHS supports you. In the US, it is that if you have a headache and you need to see a doctor, be ready to have $55 to pay for that emergency visit. If you don't have it, it becomes a problem. So it was now long term. Do I have money aside for this? Do I have money aside for that? And the conversation about money started to be even more open. Like, I think that folks here are quite open about money. You know, everyone is talking about hustling. Everyone is talking about net worth.
You don't think people are open about money in the UK?
I don't think. I mean, I didn't entirely have that conversation, but also, I mean, I'm the same person. I just meet different people, and the way they approach it also makes me like quite open about it. When I moved to the US, I started to find out that there are groups of people, like even Africans, that are just talking about less like we need you to have a side hustle. We need you to like be planning retirement. We need you to be thinking about the situation because like anything can happen. You could lose your job.
So do you think that the UK feels more stable, but then US feels a lot more riskier? So people are more driven to like, if I don't plan long term, I'm going to be like,
That's actually a good way of put it, because I do know that at some point in the UK I was like very comfortable. If I put money in my ISA, I can buy a house, or I'm going to go to the hospital if I'm not feeling fine. NHS is there, or all I need is to just make sure I pay my bills, like, and then I could just continue saving until when I'm ready to like get a place, I'll get a mortgage, things like that. It was here. It is that actually I can go to the office tomorrow and they'll tell me to pack my things. I'll go because I don't have a job anymore. And then it will be, do you have money for like next 3 months of rent, or like how can you manage it? I think you summarize it nicely. Of
because I think
Yes,
that's how I think about the US system. Obviously, I haven't lived here, but I do know that the one thing in Sashiko, not quite visit yet, but not quite. That's not the point of this. But I think one thing I've learned is that people in Europe, it's not just UK, I think Europeans generally, there's a sense of stability. Like, it feels like there's a cap, first of all, to like how much, because how high taxes are. And so you know that, okay, if I start earning 20, 250, 350, I'm just paying more taxes. But if I start getting to like even like 70, 80K, for most British people, it's like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like, there's free healthcare, like you mentioned. The tube is not that expensive. There are many places you can live in the UK that you don't need to drive. And if you want to drive, your credit card is there. And you feel like, okay, once I pay my rent, or if I have a house and pay mortgage, I'm pretty much okay.
And the
So
currency is strong too, right?
and the currency is that's my favorite part about earning in pounds.
Enter like, I don't know,
Yeah.
10 pounds.
Because as expensive as New York is, every time I'm spending money, I'm like $100. It's like £80. It's £80. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
That
So there's always that, and when you go to like places like Canada, like I always feel richer in other countries than in the UK,
Yep.
just because of the currency.
Yep.
And so there's very celebrity, but for all the people that I know about who live in the US, it feels there's more hustle. And I always thought about it from, it's just the US is so high capitalism, so it makes you feel like you have to like hustle and chase that American dream. But hearing you talk, I'm learning that there's that hustle, but it's also from a place of, I cannot afford not to have money, because you can afford not to be rich in the UK and you be comfortable.
So you can't afford to not be like you will suffer. Like you can't afford not to. There's even just having the basics, you can't afford not to have that here in the US. And if you think about like the UK as well, is to the point around like earning more money. Like some people even feel like if I earn more money, it's just going to be me paying it to the government. I think UK was the first place that I heard people say things like, I would rather you do not give me like more bonus or like increase my salary, because I'm going to earn more when you do that. Like that was the first place that I was hearing it. And people probably just do like summer jobs. What do they want to spend money for? I want to travel. My health is already covered.
That's a thing with Europeans, like British people. If I can travel in the summer,
Yeah,
life is good.
and chill. But in the US, like even the travels that you want to do, maybe it might be easier to do across the country, but it's like different. Here in New York, you start to think about buying a car. In other places, it's if you don't have a car, it's a challenge. So car is not a
So luxury.
it's not luxury, it's a necessity. In the UK, if you don't have a car, in some places, especially London where you live, like you'll be fine.
Very fine. I haven't thought about buying a car in 4 years.
I'm thinking about buying a car now, right? But when you start to look at the cost of itself, like your car notes, insurance, like even to the point of depending on where you live, insurance is higher. If they find out that you don't have parking lot or you're parking by the roadside, your insurance is higher too. So all of those things, you start to think about money differently because you can't just afford to not have anything with you.
That makes sense. There's something that you said earlier around how moving to the UK made you start budgeting and planning more effectively.
Yeah.
At least knowing that.
I didn't succeed yet, but
Knowing I need to have like at least this amount of money. What skill or what did you have to relearn in the US that's different? Obviously, I think you've succeeded in budgeting now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other things did you?
In the US, it was no longer about just having the money for your bills. It now started to be about planning for the next month ahead, planning for like other situations. I feel like when I moved to the US, one thing that I started to learn was actually I need to have investments. I need to never not have money just being here. My
It's like having things that you can always liquidate.
yeah, my emergency fund has to be like, buffed up because
Like you're looking for the best adjective.
but when you also think about it, the hustle here is mad. Every morning you wake up and you're like racing to the office. Like the work culture here is also like super intense. I mean, compared to other areas, you could decide to like live casually and just chill if you don't want to. But there's so many people that's wanting your job, and if you can't like put in the work, someone else is going to take it. So when you think about it from a place of I'm hustling every day. I wake up in the morning, I'm like racing down buses and tubes to get to work. And I mean, you go, whether it's winter or sunshine, like do the work. You start to think about is this how I want to live for the rest of my life? Every day you're hustling from here to there. At some point, you also want to like relax. You also want to not have to, like, you also want to be in a position where I'm going because I want to, or not because I must do that to be able to survive. The stress here is quite high for you to not plan for the future. And so it changed drastically when I got here. But it's also the fact that a lot of people here are constantly talking about it. That if you don't start to think about it yourself, it just feels like, what exactly are you doing? I mean, I'm in the midst of people that are very smart, people that are high earning, people that are thinking about their future consistently. And so when they talk, they're talking about things like, oh, like, having an LLC, starting a business, like making your money work for you, maxing your 401k and doing all this stuff. I mean, I got here one day and I was just like, let's see, I've just been working for nothing because I've been working for a long time now and I'm seeing
Waiting plan.
yeah, and I'm seeing people, young people my age, and they're talking about, oh, I have houses here. I'm investing in real estate. Oh, I'm buying. Teach me this thing. Like I don't really know. Like these things I'm not familiar with. You see, people start looking at the stock market. Me, what concern me? It's just let's just go. But here in the US, like everyone's like, did you read the news? Like this happened. Oh, Nvidia is up there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I start to pay conscious effort into it, like start to understand what's going on. But I think here there are people who are also just there's so many people that are also like suffering and trying to figure things out. Like there are a lot of immigrants around, and I think that this intentional effort or that I've seen for people who are Africans speaking to other Africans about how to really find your way and like don't just get into the fun of it because not gonna lie, like New York is fun. There's so much to do, activities. You can ball, but is that what
It's
you want
very
to do?
expensive to
Exactly.
ball.
Is that what you want to do for the rest of your life? So it really changed. I think that the people around, the things that they started to say, like and me starting to look at the situation, to your point, I don't really think there's job security in the US. It's not in the UK. You get contracts, employment contracts, and they tell you this is here. We can terminate at will, right? Like me as a person can decide and tell my employer that I'm not interested. My employer can tell me they are not interested, and everybody will part ways, and it can happen in the blink of an eye. And so when I started to think that, like, it was one of the fears as well. Like, yo, I wouldn't want to like quit my job and have to like cut down on my lifestyle. So what do I need to start doing to get things going?
As you're talking, I'm like, I get the hustle and bustle of the US. I haven't lived here, but I have that same mindset. So was it a personal thing or what? Because I've already started thinking, or before now, I already had an emergency fund. I think for me, my first question around like money belief, it was just I need to always have savings because like when you grow up poor, I usually say this all the time. My own was just I'm never going back there.
Yep.
So my first instinct was save, 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 save. And I used to be very anti-debt. When you owe, you are a debtor.
Yeah.
Then you move to the UK or you move abroad, and like no, 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 like credit is like a part of life. It took me a long time to get comfortable using like credit cards.
Mine was shorter.
I don't like the idea of like, so I'm not owing, like, it's not my cash. But eventually you realize, oh no, it's actually a tool, right? But so I went from, okay, just always save, 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 just to make sure that if anything happens, there's always money.
Yeah.
And I moved to the UK and then I got like, oh, so there is like credit can be a tool. I'm still not a very big credit card user just because like I don't like the concept of it. But I understand like, oh, there are times when you can use it as a tool for like if you're trying to like do mortgage, you're trying to like buy a car, all of that stuff. But then I now gotten to the point where I'm like, as I get older, I need to stop. I need to learn how to take risk, right? Because saving is I think when you save, you're trying to avoid like risk. You're just like, I have money, I have a pot, like cash that I can bring out from. When you invest, you know that you can lose that money, right?
Yeah.
So I got to the point of no, I don't want to ever lose money to save. So
Yeah.
I actually want to make more money, and making more money means that you lose money. And I have lost money in this life. That's the one thing that investment does. And so as I start thinking through, okay, like how do I invest? And is it going to be like stocks? Is it going to be like ISA in the UK? Is it going to be like angel investing, which is the riskiest one? I don't have a lot of money, but I took the riskiest route and lost a lot of them. But then also figured out, yeah, that's also fine. So I'm wondering why it took you moving another time to get to that point.
Yeah, I think I probably have a very different mindset from yours because by default, my nature like is ingrown, like is there. I'm naturally a spender. I spend money. So even when I was in Lagos, it was that when you ask me for money, like I'm not thinking about, oh, I need to keep some. I'm just like, what do you need it for? Take.
So if I ask you for money now, you just give me.
I don't change. For me, it was like money is meant to be spent, and when someone needs things, I also had like that habit, and I don't think it's like entirely good, where I could let go of the last cash in my hand for other people. When I moved to the UK on credit card, it was like, oh, I have access to more money. Let's spend. I know. I remember traveling one time and like really maxing out my credit card in the UK. And then I came home and I was like, what is this? Because I hate debt, which is
But you like spending more.
I like spending more. And so I got back and it was just like, oh my God, I have so much debt. I have to pay. And so what I would have probably saved, I spent it. So, but when I moved to the US, it was both a reset and like you give yourself brain. You can't continue like in that direction. I also felt like in the UK, I mean, the things that you had already learned with saving, investment, I started to like ground myself there.
So that just came to maturity.
So it was like I learned when you spend your credit card, you pay the money you're spending on your credit card. It's your future. It's your future money that you're spending on your credit card. And it's like it's not just card you're swiping. You're actually swiping real paper, like real money. And so I learned that from experimenting and just spending. When I moved here, it was now okay. You've done all of this. Like It's almost like, you know how people say you're on the streets and then you come back and like it's time to settle. That's how it felt like moving to the US and changing that. But I think there's a part where my nature is spending money. Like I actually get fulfilled. I enjoy spending money, shopping and doing things. So, but moving here meant that if you spend money, you're going to have to pay. Oh, and because the US is like it's a, I don't know, the credit system here is like really intense. There was one time I spent money on my credit card and then my credit score dropped by 60 points. I was worried because I was about to rent an apartment. So what did that look like? I was like, oh, actually, you need to stay within under 30% of
Credit system here is a bit more brutal than in the
it. It is like
Makes sense.
whether that is getting a loan, it increases your interest rate. Or that's how it felt for me. Like when you try to when your credit score isn't like as great and things like that, just means that you're not as trustworthy. So it took me that much time. Yeah.
What does financial freedom look like? What does it mean to you now?
Now it's being able to do what I want to do when I want to do them without anybody telling me what to do. Like
That's lots of doings.
it's just I just want to do, and it shouldn't have to come from like it shouldn't be dependent on anything. Like if I desire if I want to be something, if I want to do something, I should be able to do it and not think about what I have to give or trade off to have that. Whether that is actually I don't want to work for the next 3 months. It shouldn't be, but how are you going to take care of yourself? Like what does that mean for family back home, or what does that mean for your future? I just
So not having to question the choices that you make as regards to like how you spend. That's a really good one. Is there any specific like framework or tools that you've learned in how you manage, plan, distribute money that you have that could be helpful to somebody else who's listening?
never let free money on the table was one thing I learned when I got into the no matter how small it is. So like my employer like supports with 401k, like they match your 401k, and 401k is equivalent to what we have as pension in the UK US. It's nothing you're going to tell me. I always max it out. And it was that it is free money. It's going to compound anyways. Why are you leaving it on the table? Like so no matter how broke all the situation I'm in, the mindset is free money is never meant to be left on the table. Always take it. And so it sort of helped like how I think about like those investments as well. And I think the other piece is you really need to know where your money is going to. I feel like it changes a lot of things. I'm still terrible at it, but I found out that it gives me like some mad confidence when I know where this. I'm just like, what's this? What's this? What's this? We're cutting, we're cutting, we're cutting, and then it helps me to figure out what is like what is the money structure that I need to have. I sat down one day and I was like, I'm actually making some good money. Where is it going to? Like, why is it not going into investment? Why isn't it going into savings? Yeah, so I think that really helps change. It changes things a lot. So if you can, just know where your money is going to. Never not know, and you can do it on a monthly basis. Really,
Fun. I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I as a I don't know you're laughing as a caveat. I really agree with you. And I think about it, I think I do that every now and again. Like every time when I feel like maybe I'm broke, I'll sit down and I'll track my money. Every time I'm looking like I want to cut expense, I will sit down and I want to track my money. I'm very good with budgeting. I'm fantastic at budgeting. Fantastic. But I'm terrible at sticking to the budget. So when I say I'm good at budgeting, if you give me any money, I can settle down and create a plan of this will go here, this will go here, this will go here, this will go here.
Yeah.
On a high level, it makes sense. I'll give you a spreadsheet, fantastic. I'll give you a spreadsheet. And then when I've done like all those big, big ones, now let's say that I have say 1K. I'm like, okay, this one is now for like food and just living and like life. And then you would think that people who budget, I assume that they also budget that like life.
Yes.
That's where it stops. So like I don't know how much I'm spending on food to the latter because
I was actually literally chatting with someone on Instagram about that, and they were talking about $0 budgeting, where you budget to the point where there's no money left. It's like 000. If you finish, you finish. I don't budget. I can't. I feel like this is my personal opinion. I feel like it's poverty mentality to budget to the T of I'm going to spend $10. It's like this is not financial advice. Because I'm like, why am I going to budget for? I don't drink coffee, but for tea or for What am I going to budget for? I can't. This is the bulk of what I'm going to spend this month. Allow me to spend it how I want.
To decide.
If it is perfume I want to buy, let me buy it. But let it not be that I'm having to now budget it so that you collect my $1,000.
But fair enough. Do you think that it's only broke people that budget?
No,
Do you think that you need to earn more to save more?
sometimes. But if you can't save the one that you have now, even if you earn more, it'll just increase. Because there was a time where I moved recently from New York to New Jersey because it was an intentional effort of like, I like the life in I like space, but New York is like expensive for me right now. I could afford it,
So you can
but I
make
need
the right choices that
Yeah.
saves you more money.
exactly, because it was like I'm making more money, but somehow I felt like I wasn't. So there's no amount of money you are giving to me then.
That is a life skill. Like
Yeah.
moving from New York to New Jersey, because like you probably maybe save you like $1,000 that you can use for anything. Fantastic. It's kind of the same thing that I say from life skills. I think I had that experience living in East London, and I moved to North London, and it cut my rent by like £1,000. I never felt richer.
£1,000 a month.
For you were getting more space, I guess, in a outside
More space. It's like
yeah.
better value for lesser money.
From a 2 bed to a 1 bed, mostly because I also realized I didn't need a second bed. And then I was moving closer to the airport because I was traveling. Different choice of location. But either way, it was not taking away from my quality of life because my apartment is fantastic. But that just extra money, I was like, wow, why did I lose? Like, I could have been saving 1K extra every month for the last 2 years that I was just like having like a run. So I think learning how to like cut costs in certain places that are just not necessary, depending on where you are in life, it's a really good way to save more money. But I also agree with you from most of the other times you need to earn more. So I think this is a thing where people say you don't need to always cut costs. Like if you want to save more money, just make more money.
If you try as much as you can't cut costs.
Just make more money. Yeah. Do you think that you should always send money home?
Me always. Like you should have like you can decide to budget it. You can have a specific amount, but it's like to the point you made earlier. It gives me joy when my father is like, "God bless you."
They pray for you.
They not put it in capital letter. God bless you. I'm just like, yeah.
I feel untouchable when my mother calls me to pray for me because I'm like, I'll send you money next month so you can keep adding prayer. Do you think that rich people don't stress about money?
Their stress is just different from the kind of stress. Like I feel like it goes from survival mode to like this things around investment. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, but what's going on? Why is the video going down? You know, the things they stress about is different. I feel like as you go higher, as you earn more money, like your worries become different, and it doesn't change.
Yeah.
The whether that worry is valid or not. Is most times it's actually very valid. It's just different kind of problem at different stages in life.
Final question, 2026, what money lesson or what money habits or mindset are you taking?
Ooh, invest, like brutal investment, like just going all in there.
I'll send you another safe.
Please, because I just find out that there's a certain level that you can't get to if you don't have investment. There's also like the confidence I have, and I see my money like plus 10% up or whatever. It allows you to do things and do like just be. It gives you the kind of freedom that I'm looking for. Investment is making me feel that way right now, and so that's it.
I think my own, I don't know if I have one, so even though it's my question, I'll probably say a few. One of them is you have to take risk to make money. And sometimes risk would mean that you lose money, but you cannot make a lot of money. Like, I mean, like I think I realized in 2025 that to be wealthy, you have to take risk.
I'm not there yet, but
If you want to be stable, you can be like just chill, but like taking risk. And does it mean you pay off in the long run? You have to know that taking risk means that shit might actually,
for the risk.
but like there's money in this world and you need strong
Just have emergency fund before you do risk.
not illegal stuff. Also, I'm not saying have strong head. I'm just saying like to take the risk. And then so I think there's always ways to make money. If you get to yourself to a point where there's value in one shape or form, you would realize that there's way to make money. And I think I realized that this year. Just when your typical, for instance, context of me, 9 to 5 income is not there, your brain, there's a creative alertness that comes on when you're broke.
You don't want to go back to poverty.
There's a creative alertness. You start to think, say, if I pitch to that person, if I talk to, if I try this business
I
idea,
100% agree with you. There was a day I sat down in my window, I looked at, like, it was like very beautiful because I stay like on the top floor, and I was just like, if all these people just give me one dollar like this, I'll be rich. But 100% I agree with you.
yeah,
You get there, it's just like, I think money is easy. It's easy to make money.
I think it's easy to make money. Yeah, but you need the right mindset, the right people, the right network, and yeah, all of that stuff. Final word for people around like financial planning and money as an immigrant in 2026.
Don't, it's the word. You're an immigrant. You're not home. Don't act like you're at home, and put all the effort that you can to make that money. Because sometimes we forget where we're coming from, and, like, the reason why we're here, and then we just get into like that. Some people, like, you accrue credit card debt, you don't have benefits. You are not at home. You're an immigrant. Act like it, and spend the energy that you have putting that money together, because at some point you might need to go back home.
Yeah, that's very rude. So, that's what they call rude awakening.
At some point you might need to go back home. You don't want to go back empty.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Like, whatever reason brought you here, work for it. Yeah, and do the hard work. That's wow, food for thought. May we go back home with wealth and not as a as a result of person saying you say they don't want you in the country no more. Fantastic. All right, Oiza, this was like a really good conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your experience moving multiple continents with me. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you learned something about money that you can use for this year, this 2026. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And remember that this episode was sponsored by Remicly. Peace.